Good evening, folks, at 6:30 p.m. on the dot on November 22nd, 2019. This is the anniversary of John F. Kennedy's death, so try to remember him and his family in your prayers. Okay, this is the Word for Today, Part 3 for November 20th. The Word for Today, Part 3, November 20th. And we're going to go right into the Word. So at 9:12 p.m. on November 20th, pride promotes strife. Pride promotes strife. This is found in the book of James, chapter 4, verses 1 through 6, key verse 1. The book of James, chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and do not have. You murder and covet. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures. Adulterers and adulteresses, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Or do you think that the Scripture says in vain, the Spirit who dwells in us yearns jealously? But he gives more grace. Therefore he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Okay, folks, as we continue on, next entry in my journal at 9:27 p.m. on November 20th, 2019. Isaiah assures deliverance. Isaiah assures deliverance. It's found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 37, verses 1 through 7. The book of Isaiah, chapter 37, 1 through 7. And so it was when King Hezekiah heard it, that he tore his clothes, covered himself with sackcloth, and went to the house of the Lord. Then he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said to him, Thus says Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble and rebuke and blasphemy, for the children have come to birth, but there is no strength to bring them forth. It may be that the Lord your God will hear the words of the Rabshakeh, whom his master the king of Assyria has sent to reproach the living God, and rebuke the words which the Lord your God has heard. Therefore lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left off. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said to them, Thus you shall say to your master, Thus says the Lord, Do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Surely I will send a spirit upon him, and he shall hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. Okay, next entry in my King James Version Bible at 9:29 p.m. 9:29 p.m. Sennacherib's threat and Hezekiah's prayer. This is found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 37, verses 8 through 20. Isaiah 37, 8 through 20. Then the Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he heard that he had departed from Lachish. And the king heard concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, he has come out to make war with you. So when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, Thus you shall speak to Hezekiah the king of Judah, saying, Do not let your God in whom you trust deceive you, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Look, you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands by utterly destroying them. And shall you be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered those with whom my fathers have destroyed Gozan and Haran and Reseph, and the people of Eden who were in Tel Lasher? Where's the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, Hena and Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers, and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord, and spread it before the Lord. Then Hezekiah prayed the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, the one who dwells between the cherubim, you are God, you alone. Of all the kingdoms of the earth, you have made heavens and earth. Incline your ear, O Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, Lord, and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which he has sent to reproach the living God. Truly the Lord, the kings of Assyria, have laid waste all the nations in their lands, and hath cast their gods into the fire, for they were not gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they destroy them. Now therefore, Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you are the Lord, you alone. All righty then. Now, at 9:31 p.m. I'm reading in my New King James Version Bible, and I read about Hezekiah's life extended. Yeah, his life was extended 15 years because of his prayer. He repented, and God granted him 15 extra years for his life. This is found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 38, verse 1 through 8, and also verse 21. Isaiah 38, verses 1 through 8. In those days Hezekiah was sick and near death, and Isaiah the prophet, son of Amoz, went to him and said to him, Thus says the Lord, Set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. And Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed to the Lord, and said, Remember now, O Lord, I pray, I have walked before you in truth and with a loyal heart, and ye have done what is good in your sight. And Hezekiah wept bitterly. And the word of the Lord came to Isaiah, saying, Go and tell Hezekiah, Thus says the Lord, the God of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears, surely I will add to your days 15 years. I will deliver you and this city from the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this is the sign to you from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing from which he has spoken. Behold, I will bring the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun on the sundial of Ahaz 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it had gone down. Verse 21. Now Isaiah has said, Let them take a lump of figs and apply it as a poultice on the boil, and he shall recover. Okay, folks and family, that's the Word for Today, Part 3, for November 20th, 2019. The Word for Today, Part 3, November 20th. Everyone have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Have a safe weekend. God bless you all and everything you do. God loves you, and so do I. Remember, Jesus is coming soon. Very soon. Get ready. I love you all very much, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Goodbye for now. I love you.